What's up, guys? It's Roll here, coming to you with Something Rxd. Today we're doing our first video podcast as we air down / assault bike. Here with Amanda Allen. How you going?
I'll be okay soon, thanks.
You'll be okay soon?
Yeah.
Why are you not feeling the best right now?
I just annihilated myself yet again, and it wasn't pretty.
Wasn't pretty?
And never is.
Never is,
and, so now it's a process of recovery.
Recovery?
Yeah.
So we're here in Adelaide, where it's a nice 38 degrees or something like that.
Yeah.
It's really hot, especially hotter in there. It's kind of like an oven, like a very moist, wet oven that probably only makes some movements a little bit harder.
That was hard.
Yeah.
It was awful.
So Amanda, what's been in the cards for you today? What did you get up to?
Yeah, I did some lifting and I did that very badly.
Yeah.
And I can't even remember what I do. Yeah, some snatching, some clean and jerking. The clean and jerking was horrendous.
Yeah.
And
high weights or heavy weights or light reps? Or like light weights?
Well, I would have liked it to have been heavier, but today it was just not happening, and the planets didn't align. And
yeah.
I just have to accept that. Like, some days are just hard work with little return, but you still do the work anyway. And I'm just putting today down to that. Yesterday was just a monster of I just get on a roll and I just keep going. So yesterday, it was hot.
Yeah.
Yesterday I just smashed all manner of gymnastics and squatting and more gymnastics. And I'm probably paying for it today.
Yeah. What did you do after lifting?
I did this more lifting.
Yeah.
And until I actually.
It's alright. We're cross. We like this sort of stuff.
I pulled the plug. I did. I was supposed to get up to some heavy power cleans, and they didn't get very heavy. And but some days you just got to pull the plug. And today, I just decided to pull the plug on that, and just move on. So then I think that's when you guys arrived. So I was just getting ready for my workout. I never got much of a personality before a workout because, I know I'm about to push myself to the brink of death, which is what any CrossFit workout kind of is, really. If you're doing it right, you're right on the edge of crazy dead.
Yeah. How do you find that you keep finding that special mix, keep pushing yourself to that age? So I think when you first start CrossFit, you don't understand how you could just push yourself as hard as you can.
Yeah.
Then eventually you start realizing, I could maybe game this workout a little bit this way. I could probably not do a set of 15 unbroken. I should do 8 and 7. How do you?
I don't know. I think training's the place to find out how hard you can push yourself, and regionals and games and competitions is and the open is when you play the game.
Yeah.
But you've got to be constantly pushing the envelope and pushing mentally beyond where you think you're capable. And I just had those 3 rounds of 30 shoulder overhead, 100 double unders, and I wanted to do all 30 shoulder overhead unbroken, at 45 kilos. And like at the end of the day, I worked it out lying on the floor, like, oh, well, that's 90 shoulder to overhead in a very short space of time. And it's like, it's not surprising that you didn't end up doing 30 unbroken each round.
Yeah.
But I get in my head that's what I want to do, and that's what I try to do.
Yeah. How you obviously were over in America. How was that? How was that experience?
It was like I 50% loved it and I 50% hated it. Loved because there's so many opportunities, that's where CrossFit was born in the States, and so many people, so many amazing athletes and camps and specialists and huge gyms, and I don't know, it was just, had huge opportunities, and I embraced them all, and, won the games, and then kicked on and headed up to Connecticut and had the opportunity to compete on Philly Founders in the new Grid League, and that was kind of crazy and actually quite a rough year, the first year, and lots of issues. And
it was quite controversial.
Yeah, it was a bit unfortunate for us. We had an owner that in the end decided to pull the pin, but they almost sent me home, and then I decided to stay, and then there was another match, and then we didn't know if we were going to be, if the owner of our team was going to pay for us to go compete. So we all decided as a team, screw it, we'll just we'll fund ourselves if it comes to that. We'll go and compete. We won't.
Did it come to that?
No, thankfully we were all willing to, and maybe sometimes that's all you have to be, is willing to do this stuff.
Yeah.
And we came really close, like one rep off of making the semi-finals.
Yeah.
But that was the best match. We had a proper race, and it was wild.
Yeah.
It's heavy, it's fast, it's strategy, it's a game of chess, speed chess.
Yep.
But it's great just to work with amazing athletes and amazing coaches, and be a part of something, you know, like so unique and so brand new. And I think I think it was about the 4th athlete signed to the grid and the first Australian. Yeah. And it's not bad, you know. What am I? 44. Yeah. Doing all right for 44, you know, a professional CrossFitter. So
it's pretty cool. Who was your coach over at the grid?
Jason Layden. He's a coach at CrossFit Milford. He's done a lot of coaching for CrossFit HQ, and delivers seminars all over the world, and we're hoping to get him out this year, maybe later in the year with some other guys.
What was it like to have someone of that caliber?
He's just a really genuinely good guy and encouraging coach, and you know, very talented coach and capable, and he really brought the team together. That's the thing, you got to bring a team together. Like, we all arrived, we were a bunch of CrossFitters, you know, who CrossFitted, you know, as individuals. Yeah.
Was that hard to get so many people who, I guess, are very individually driven to join as a team, or was
that enough? And I think it really depends on your leader. It wasn't at all. We all that was the best part about our team, was the actual unity that we had and cohesiveness. And I know a lot of teams didn't have the same thing. They had a lot of personality clashes and issues, and we didn't have that. You know, that was the beauty of our experience. We had other issues. And they weren't great, but
because I watched the grid pretty closely, and you know, as soon as I saw that it might have been had the plug pulled in it halfway through it, that was a bit concerning.
I was pretty devastated, you know. Changed my life.
Did you guys find out like everyone else, just through social media, or?
We were all headed to Miami, and Philly founders were headed to Philadelphia that morning. I was on the road. People were on planes, on trains, in transit. Yeah. Got pulled off of planes, got pulled out of trains, got pulled off the road and sent home. And I was already on the road. Most of us were. Yeah. It was. It's just unfortunate, really unfortunate. Yeah. A lot of drama. Yeah.
New season coming up with the games and grid. What's your #1 priority at the moment?
Never changed. It hasn't changed. This will be the 5th year. Yeah. And you know, the goal
back to the games
is to head back as an individual. That's the thing I've worked towards. And I mean, I don't know. You don't know from year to year. I've been so close, and if the rules that they now have in this year were applied, the last 3 years we've seen, you know, would have headed to the games, but as an individual. But you know, I didn't. And who knows? Maybe this year top 5 go, and I don't quite make it. Who knows? Like, it's just. You don't know who's going to turn up. You don't know what the workout's going to be. You don't know, are you injured? Are you sick? You know, have you done all the prep? So I'm doing everything I can, and you know, the worst case scenario for me is I head back as a master, you know, and have an opportunity to defend my title for a 3rd time, and you know, that's not a bad plan B.
Yeah, definitely.
I mean, you know, the last 2 years winning masters has been, you know, well, nobody else has won a gold medal in this, no medal in this country in the CrossFit Games. So, you know, these things are, I don't know, there's sort of a bit of history as well. And,
definitely.
A huge privilege. So, like, I think I always sound ungrateful when it's like, oh, I want to go to individual, I don't want to be a master, but
it's not. You know, it's what you're expecting out of yourself.
I don't mean to be ungrateful, and it's not like I didn't have to work for all of that, but you know, I've just got one thing in my heart, and I guess you know, I'm driven by that every day, and we'll see. Maybe at 45 I make it back as an individual. Who knows? Yeah.
What do you think about the new rule changes? You know, the super regionals.
We need
the fact that there's going to be maybe the opens now. There's a scale division. Do you reckon they'll make it harder in the open? Will it finally be heavy?
I hope it's a bit heavier in the open, because you know, at the end of the day you turn up to regionals and it's heavy there. Yeah. You can't handle those weights. You know, we see a huge drop off. People perform relatively well in the open and not so well at regionals, and I think this will address that issue. Yeah. So hopefully a scaled will bring more people in to have a go, and then you know, your sort of RX open will be a little bit harder to weed out any weaknesses, I suppose, and get those top 30 from Australia, get the right people there.
Yeah.
To fight out for 5 spots, my God.
Yeah. It's going to be tough. So anyone who doesn't know how you started CrossFit, or just your fitness, background, could you give us a little bit of insight into that? I'm sure you're probably sick of death to hear saying the story. Excuse me.
Now my recovery's happening as we speak here. So hell, it's licorice all sorts, that's for sure. So I was a pretty screwed up kid, right? So lots of depression, heavy drinking, and I don't know, like suicidal depression, like not good.
Yeah.
So then I decided to save myself by taking up triathlon, as you do when you're depressed and
from
alcoholic.
One suffering to the other suffering,
But I did, I started triathlon, and before I knew it, I was professional.
Yeah.
Competing around the world. And
how does one become a professional triathlete?
I don't know. I just started and just kept going. Sort of my attitude, my approach. So I'll just turn up and work hard and see what happens.
Yeah.
And but that got me to state, national, world titles in triathlon, and I sort of competed over about 10 years, but I actually sort of drank my way out of that.
Yeah.
Like old habits die pretty hard, and then I took up cycling and did track cycling with a blind partner. She was on the back, I was the pilot on the front on a tandem bike, and we won state and national titles, and we qualified for Paralympics, and but I started drinking again, bailed on her, and she found another partner to go fill that spot at Paralympics, and then I had a few pretty dark years where I worked for wineries, like 7 days a week in wineries, and had a winemaker partner, and just about drank myself to death on the finest wine on the planet.
Yeah.
And it was just the tipping points, like I couldn't do that anymore, and took up, I became a personal trainer or something, and started to get fitter again, and no drinking, and then I took up, I'd been doing some adventure racing, and then discovered canoeing, and then discovered high kneeling canoeing, which is this insane skinny boat, kneeling position, just paddling, no, what do you call that thing? Fin on the bottom of the fucking boat.
Yeah.
Anyway, pretty hard to steer and paddle, and it was an Olympic sport, new women's Olympic sport, and so I was like, well, I'm going to be that woman. And at this stage I was 40. Yeah. Like, well, of course you are. Yeah. And started paddling like crazy. 6 months later, I won state and national titles, but I wasn't selected to the World Championship team. Another girl was, and she was more talented. I'll give it to her. But about 2 months before that, I thought I'd get my upper body strong. And my friend Marika told me about this thing called CrossFit, and I was like, yeah, whatever. She was raving lunatic about it, like, Did you have this sort of attitude where you were like you don't understand what you're doing, because obviously what I'm doing is pretty hard as it is, or was it more just you had no idea what she was really going on about? I had no idea, but she must have planted a seed, because I was like, I looked it up, and there's Camille LeBlanc-Bazinet jumping over walls in these little booty shorts, and I was like, wow, this is pretty damn cool. So next day I googled CrossFit and found Ben Norman here at CrossFit Adelaide and checked him out. The guy had dreadlocks and a red beard or whatever, so I was like, okay, well that's not normal, that looks pretty cool. Yeah. Was that something that made you want to know more about it? No, not at all. I just wanted to get I came here, I'm like, I want to make the Olympics for canoeing, need to get my upper body strong, I do some lunging stuff, I'm not going to do any jumping, no skipping, like I was like, this is what I'm doing canoeing. Yeah. So poor bugger put up with me, and but I didn't make World Championships, so that was sort of like at that point it was the end of the Olympic dream, and that's exactly when the 2011 CrossFit Open started. Isn't it weird how some things just sort of align at times? I think it was $5 to enter, so I'm like, oh well, whatever, I'll pay my $5. I'm going to be working out anyway, so I'll come along on Saturdays, and then suddenly it was like, well, I can't do double unders because I refused to do them, so then I had to learn. And it took me a couple of weeks. My mum, she's 68, she started CrossFit last week. Hasn't skipped in 50 years or something. Inside 2 minutes, got her first double under. Yeah, I saw that on Facebook. It's pretty impressive. It's just, I'm just like, okay, well, I could be jealous or just grateful that they're my I got those genes. Yeah, I was going to say, it's obviously the genes. And then, you know, that just began the process. I think I came like 524th in the world in the Open and 24th in Australia, and took off to regionals. No clue what CrossFit was, honestly.
Yeah.
Still didn't know. Still didn't really care.
Yeah.
Came third. 6 months later, you know, I'm at the games.
Yeah.
Best show, most incredible, greatest show on earth.
And you know, at this stage, you obviously didn't really know what you'd accomplish.
No clue.
No idea.
Totally ignorant. But I had the time of my life at those games. Came 19th. I was 41.
Yeah.
And I haven't stopped the work to get back there.
Yeah.
So close every year.
Yeah.
You know, so close.
It's been annoying that you're trying to get back. It's been harder than when you weren't. You were like, yeah,
mind numbing. You know, and I've gotten better every year. And
yeah.
yeah, I mean, but it's the journey, hey. Like, it sounds so cliche, we all say it, but it really is. Like,
well, I mean, if you didn't enjoy the journey, you wouldn't be putting in the work every day.
Yeah, well, it wouldn't make it much fun that each time you fail to achieve your goal. But yeah, I wouldn't have it any other way.
You know, like a lot of people, they get themselves a goal and they chase a goal without necessarily enjoying the journey. And I think it becomes a big disadvantage for a lot of people because, you know, if they're not receiving that daily feedback that they're getting close to the goal, it can be really hard. How do you manage that? Like, what do you think you enjoy the journey?
Well, I
a
mean,
bit more so. Is it just your passion for fitness? Is it just...
I think there are a few things. I mean, given where I came from, you know, like suicidal depression and, you know, like I was a daily drinker badly for years, for decades, and on and off. So, like, that's not a pretty place to start. So, to be enjoying what I do on the flip side is, you know, that in itself is the most extraordinary reward. You know, the steak knives is the opportunity to go to regionals or go to games, and look, I mean, what do you say? Like, it's you know, do you enjoy it? Yeah, I enjoy it. But am I scared every day? I'm terrified every day. You know, do I want to do it every day? No.
But why do you do it every day when you don't want to do it?
Because I'm better for it. Like, my everyday, like everything that I experience in my life and in my relationships and in my health and well-being is better because of it.
Yeah.
But it doesn't mean you just... Yeah, it's like, you know, when you're living your dream, it doesn't mean it's easy.
Yeah.
It doesn't mean it's not hard work, but it means that at least you're doing something that you're passionate about.
And that's something I think a lot of people get wrong. They think that the day you get to live your dream, it's all sunshine and rainbows.
No,
and it probably couldn't be far from that.
I think the only difference is, like, you're doing something you don't, if you're not passionate about, or do something that you are passionate about, the difference is not the work, because you're still having to work, you know, everybody goes to work, but that you truly are, you're passionate, you want to be doing it, you know, you're pursuing something that resonates in you. Yeah. And that's an incredible reward, but it's not easy.
Yeah, of course not. You know, and a lot of people say, you know, if I just had all day to train, I'd definitely be making it. What is it like to actually train all day? You know, like, what's it like to be a professional athlete? What's that experience look like in CrossFit?
Funny. Like, I was doing a seminar recently and somebody said to me, oh, but you don't work. Or you don't have a job or something. It's like, well, that's not true because, well, firstly, why isn't my working out a job if I can actually generate an income from it? Where's the delineation? But also, you know, I have online coaching clients, I run online challenges, I write books, and all of that is online. Like, wherever my iPhone is, I'm working. So between sets in the gym, I'm responding to clients, I'm writing programs, you know, I'm following that stuff up. So I'm constantly working. It's just that I don't go to a job and sit at a desk that you identify as, you know, your traditional work. So, like, and it's not necessarily, there's a lot of athletes, you know, like Matt Fraser, I think he said he trains like an hour a day, works full time, trains an hour a day, came second. Like Cara Webb says, Cara Webb. Yeah. Webb. Yeah. Cara,
you said it right. You said it right.
Cara says she trains like 90 minutes a day, and you know, I couldn't even imagine doing that. It wouldn't work for me, but you know, it works for her. Yeah. Everyone's different.
For you, do you think it comes down to you needing that amount of work, like physically or mentally?
I love it. And you know, triathlon's my background, so I've got this crazy ass endurance background. Volume.
I
can take it. Yeah. But yeah, mentally I need it. Yeah. Like, I need to be banging up against stuff all the time, because I got a whole lot of energy here, and if I'm not channeling it in some positive way, Like it's going bad places, and so I've got to manage myself. You know, for somebody else, totally inappropriate. You know, but for me, it's right. And I mean, at 44, like I think I'm living proof that what I'm doing is working. I might be a little bit mad, but I was way madder before. And I'm healthy, and I recover. I'm injury free. I'm improving. I'm winning. You know, it's I'm winning on so many levels.
Like, you need to be crazy to want to be really successful at something.
You sure do.
And like, I don't think people realize when they say that they want to be successful at something. You know, you need to do crazy shit that no one else is.
It's bad. Like, oh, you're so obsessed. It's like, yeah, but I mean, people watching 5 hours of TV a day, like, is that obsessive? No, because there's not some crazy ass like energy about it. But
why do you think people get so negative about positive things?
I don't know. It's just threatening.
And I'm sure you would notice it more than the average person. But the more you get into something, and the more you're enjoying it, you know, the more people want to criticize you for it.
Well, it's funny because I don't find that I'm criticized at all, and I know people do experience it, and I think sometimes it's a transition between leaving, you know, that normal kind of existence behind and transitioning to this kind of world where people get very uncomfortable, those around you, with your changes. But once you're there, once you've transitioned, like you've gone to the dark side, I think mostly people are like, oh, like she's just weird. So I just say to people, I'm just not normal. I mean, I'm not, right? And it's okay. Well, I don't even aspire to be normal. Like, I give up on that.
It's boring anyway.
Well, it didn't work for me too well. I tried.
You know, and I don't think it has to. I don't know. You know, normal's a funny word. I think if more people were to follow what they actually wanted to do, they'd find themselves in different places in life.
Yeah, we just need more people, more examples of people following their passion and being willing to take risks. So other people,
the bigger the risk, the bigger the reward at the end of the day. When you first started CrossFit, it was, you know, was it different to what it is now?
Not to me. Not at all. It's just a whole lot more people coming in the doors now. A lot more people in the world experiencing it, and everywhere I go, it doesn't matter where I go in the world, honestly. People that...
How has that been to see?
Are you Amanda, Alan? I am.
And you've obviously had a chance to travel a lot throughout America. Is CrossFit different in America than it is here in Australia? Or is it the same?
Big. It's just big. I mean, they've got such a huge population, and it was born there. So, you know, we're kind of like a year behind in terms of the growth and the exposure and the recognition. But
what about the athletes themselves? Are they a year behind or not?
No, well, look at us. We're unbelievable. You know, Australian region, we got just this last year 7 women in the top 40 women in the world from Australian region, but only 3 got to go to the games. And it's pretty similar for the men. So I don't know why, because none of us grow up doing Olympic lifting or gymnastics really in this country. So why we are as good as we are, I have no idea. I mean, hell, I didn't pick up a barbell until I was almost, 40 and a half. Or do any gymnastics until then either. So I don't know what that's all about.
It's pretty crazy. Are you doing any of the competitions coming up this year? I know you did the OC Throwdown last year. No,
I was due to do OC Throwdown, Waterpalooza, and then the East Coast Championship. So 3 weeks in a row, starting this weekend. But like 3.5 months away overseas, travelling and away from Pepper, my beautiful dog, and my routine. I just like, and then with the top 5 announcement, and I just need to stay here and do the work. And I miss my routine. I don't want to be away. Like, we are the luckiest country on the planet. Australia is an amazing place to live.
Do you think those competitions can be distracting for athletes? Or do you think they help you know where you're at?
I don't need competition experience. So for me, not so much. I mean, from a PR exposure perspective, sure. We'll represent my sponsors is important, but you know, I know Jess Coughlin's heading over there, and I think she's going to do exceptionally well. But I think for her, she needs that exposure. She needs that competition experience. For me, not so much. And every athlete's different. You got to know why you're doing competitions, and there's something coming up in Adelaide in a month, and I won't be doing it. I just can't understand why I would do it. I've got no reason to be doing it. I've got one thing to prepare for. And that's regionals. No, that's it.
That's the aim of the game.
That's it.
For this Australian regional coming up, who do you reckon will, any predictions? Who do you think we'll see?
I think we're going to see all the same up the top.
Yep.
But you just never know, like who has done the work, you know, what freak of nature, like Cara 2 years ago, whatever, 3 years ago.
Yeah.
What freak of nature is going to pop out of from nowhere? And I mean, Pip's out, she's focusing on her Olympic lifting.
Yeah. Is she in Australia or is she overseas?
She was in New York, she's back in Australia at the moment.
Yeah.
Not sure, I thought she was going to base herself in New York, but
yeah.
I'm not sure. So, you know, you would think that the top 5 are pretty well known, but like the regionals is not over yet, so we'll see.
Yeah. Do you think there'll be any big surprises?
I think Jess Coughlin will finally head off to the games.
Yeah.
You know, she's talented.
Yeah.
Strong gymnastics. You know, you will see Ruth there. We'll see Cara. We'll see Danae. Hopefully, we'll see me.
Yeah.
And then,
from the boys,
you know, it's a tough call. Like any of those guys in the top 10, even the top 15, there are a few who had injuries last year.
Yeah.
A few mishaps at regionals. So I don't think anybody. I mean, you think the top 3 guys from last year will make it, and beyond that, it's just going to be a shit fight.
Yeah, yeah.
It's going to be on.
Yeah, yeah, no, definitely. What would you want to see at the Open come up?
Open?
If you had to choose, you know, one of the workouts, what's one thing that they haven't done that you'd like to see?
I don't really care. I don't care. They can do anything. The Open is like I'm in trouble if I can't come top 30 in the Open, you know.
Yeah.
So they can throw whatever they want. Doesn't really matter. But it's you know, it's what they pull out at regionals. Last year was that, you know, that created all sorts of issues for top athletes, and I mean, I guess they're going to continue to go that way. It was pretty gymnastics heavy. I'd love to see it heavy, grinding, endurance regionals. Give us that.
Yeah. Do you think that ever would do that, like something like a long run or swimming into it?
I wish. I mean, if you're looking to
test the fittest.
Yeah, I mean.
And we're back. Sorry about that, guys. Had a bit of technical difficulty. We won't try and mask it. SD card ran out. But we're back to it, keeping it real. We were discussing the regionals, who we think is going to make it, and what we didn't or didn't want to see.
Yeah,
bearing in mind, bring it on. But this buddy over here, talk to us about Pepper.
He's the best puppy in the world. We're never separated, except for when I took off and abandoned him.
I know. How was that for you? I know you're very attached to him.
3.5 months. It was awful.
Yeah.
I know, I'll never do it again.
Yeah.
Ever. Yeah, he's here 24/7. We're like literally inseparable. He'll wait for me at the end of every workout and come in and save me as soon as it's done. Lick me back to life and cheer me on. And he loves the running WODs the best.
Yeah. Do you go running with him in the running workout? Yeah.
All the time. That's our favourite thing in the world. Twice a week we'll run together, but if there's any running in a WOD, he is like slobbering on my hips, like barking at me, like, come on, let's go.
Keep going, come on, come on, slow boat. Very nice. Tell us a little bit about your Fit as Fuck challenge. Yeah, tell us about that.
Keeping it real.
Keeping it real.
Oh, look, it's amazing. I've got online coaching, Fit as Fuck online coaching, which is for women only actually, and there's just nothing else like it in the world. So I got different levels, masters, beginners, elite kind of regional level athletes. And it's an incredible forum for women looking to learn from somebody who's, you know, living it and succeeding. And something interesting about just having that private, like I run it through a private Facebook group, so they can, you know, share all of their deepest, darkest secrets and fears and successes, and it's just a very, very positive place to exist. And I know they feel privileged to be a part of it, but so do I. So that's growing. It's, you know, women from all over the world with different goals. But I'm just about to launch my Fit as Fuck challenge again. This will be the 7th challenge that I've run online. It's 28 days of basically everything. You know, what does it take to be the very best that you can be? And it's all the best of everything that I've learned along the way. You know, whether that's training tips, technique tips, nutrition, lifestyle factors, you know, hydration, supplements. competition, mental game, like, you know, what does it mean to suffer? Is that a good thing or a bad thing? Let's reinvent it. You name it, I offer up everything I've got in 28 days. Like, I really hold people's hands and help them to, you know, apply everything I've learned into their own lives. And I tell you, the results are phenomenal. You know, yeah, it's a real privilege to be able to give back what I've learned. And I've learned it all the hard way.
yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Is that for the Fittest Fuck Challenge coming up, and I guess them in general, are they only for women?
No, my Fittest Fuck Challenge is for everybody.
Yeah.
But I just found, you know, that with my online coaching that I was 90% attracting women anyway, and I thought it was really important to just embrace that.
Yeah.
And, you know, there's things that women will share in a private women's group that they just won't otherwise.
Yeah.
And, you know, probably guys feel a bit uncomfortable about that stuff being shared as well. But more than that, it's just there's nothing else like it anywhere in the world of CrossFit. You know, there's no female coach, you know, the level of athlete that I am with the background that I've got, offering anything like that program and that forum. And the positivity is just, you know, 1 + 1 = 20.
yeah, definitely. Yeah. You know, and I think a lot of people need that sometimes. They need that support group, and I know, you know, with lots of women from my gym who've you know, gone on to do it, they really enjoyed having that, sort of knowing that other people feel the same way they feel.
Yeah, and look, it's immensely empowering for women. You know, they're learning that they can be badass and strong, and you know, say fuck, you know, without feeling ashamed, and also just that trust. You know, they have complete and utter trust in the programming that I put together, and I mean, the proof is in the pudding. You know, it's working for me, and those women are doing variations on the programming that I've got going on for myself. Yeah, definitely. So they can trust it completely.
You're pretty big on your 1%ers, you know, like doing all that sort of extra stuff. I remember the first seminar that I went to of yours. You had a big talk about that, about that funny looking juice you normally carry around.
Yeah, it's not far away.
Yeah, it's over there.
I just drank it all, actually.
You know, how important is that?
I mean, the 1%ers are everything. You know, like, everybody can train like a crazy person. You know, like, CrossFit is full of people training themselves into the ground. It's not that. It's every single thing you do. Once you put that barbell down and walk out of the gym, even before that, once that workout is over, everything you do between that moment until you turn up in the gym to warm up again, is what's going to make the difference between you and me. Like, who's going to be the champion, really? And it's the person who's left no stone unturned, like not 1% left unworked, that will win. You know, it's everything. As soon as I, like, my warm down, you know, or when I have my protein shake, immediately post-training, like, once I got myself off the floor, out of a pool of sweat, the first thing I do is I'll have my protein shake, and then I'll go and warm down for half an hour, and the warm down's part of it. You know, the warm down is where it begins, and, you know, the thoughts that you have and how you manage them. You know, like, one of the things on my Fittest Fuck Challenge is the positivity project, and, you know, like, working your positivity mental game every day. And if I'm better hydrated than you, if I'm better nourished than you, if I've got cleaner proteins, if I've got less chemicals in my body, if I've got the highest quality supplements going into my body at the appropriate times, you know, if I'm getting more sleep than you, and we're all training equally, then I'm going to be a better athlete. You know, if I'm listening to podcasts that are positive, you know, and exposing myself only to people who are uplifting and empowering and role models, like, I'm going to be a better athlete than you. Like, you know, the list goes on and on and on, the things that you can do, and, you know, it's been willing to step up to that and do it. And you know, people, like we were talking about before, you know, there's a transition period where you're a normal person doing normal things, and then you start to care. Like, people get uncomfortable around that, but once you start to really live it, instead of making people uncomfortable, you start to inspire them. Like, everywhere I go, people are like, they just, like, want to know what I do. They don't even know what I do, but they look at me and they go, I want what you've got. I don't even know what it is you've got, but I want it. And it's not about the muscles, it's about something else.
And, you know, a lot of it's just, you know, when you're living your life fit as fuck, which is, excuse the pun, you know, you've got probably more energy that other people can feel, and they want some of that.
Somebody said on social media the other day, like, they prayed for me that, you know, that I would not be so rude or something negative about my fit as fuck. And I mean, they failed to understand what I mean. Like, I mean in every area of your your life. I mean, mentally, emotionally, spiritually, nutritionally, you know, in every aspect, like being the very best that you can be. And to me, that's being fit as fuck.
Yeah.
You know, and I'm not, like, I don't know why we're scared of the F-bomb. Like, we use it all the time, and it's a legitimately good word.
Yeah. You know, it's all context and it's all the perspective you want to see it in, you know. And, you know, it's not being used in a way that's meant to
demean or
offend, you know.
Offend at all.
You know, if people take it the wrong way, that's their own story getting in the way.
No offense being intended.
Now, I feel like every time we've ever spoken, we always talk about CrossFit.
Yeah.
There's probably a lot more to your life than there is CrossFit.
You know, I mean, everything about my life is sort of like my life's context is CrossFit, but, you know, my message is about living purpose and passion and, you know, that creative expression and, but it's all part and parcel of CrossFit. You know, there's all my writing. I've got, I don't know what I've got now, 4 or 5 books, online books, and got 2 more in the pipeline, and, you know, it's my entire life. And
has that always been a passion, writing for you, or is that
writing? When I was a kid, I didn't even know it was possible at school. Like, my dad wanted me to be a doctor or a lawyer or whatever, and I just wanted to write and do sport. That's all I knew. I didn't need to be an author and professional sports person. They were the only 2 things that made any sense to me. And isn't it funny, like 40 something, and I'm finally doing those things as my way of life. And you know, but also that period of you know, like living in a pit of despair, you know, black hole of depression and alcoholism is really informs, you know, what I've got to offer today. Like, you know, bring bloody messages back from that dark place and apply it today. And, you know, it's living proof that it's not over until you say it is, and there's always hope. And I, you know, for many years I didn't have hope, but I must have, you know, I must have had something, even though I didn't realise it. And, you know, I'm here today to, you know, offer whatever I've got to the back. Like, that's my job. I'm lucky enough to have CrossFit as a platform from which to do that. And, you know, I just, like, my prayer is that I make it back as an individual this year, just to show people, you know, like, you really can turn anything around and be whatever you passionately believe in at any age. You know,
are you a spiritual person?
I don't know, like, I think so, but not in a way that,
you
like,
know,
everybody's got their own interpretation of it, but I believe in something. I believe in a lot of energy, and I believe in the power of something. Totally.
Do you think that helps you in your CrossFit?
Everything does. Like, everything does. Like, you've got to have faith in something, and that faith in that thing can.
You don't have to worry about the words that we're using, but, you know, faith is the same regardless of what you're placing it in.
Yeah, like I had, I've got this tattoo here, Field of Grace, and I had that, I had this done when I got back from the 2011 games, and actually leading into the games I had 2 really bad injuries. Tore a rib joint, which is extraordinarily painful, more painful to breathe than it was to do a muscle up. I worked that out. But
you competed that season with that injury, right?
And then I also had a patella tendonitis, and it was chronically bad, and I'd never had anything like it before. And that was leading into the 2011 games, and I've been seeing a naturopath for about 2 years by this stage, and I think she's an angel. But she said to me, I just feel like I have to tell you this thing, like, you know, when you go to the games, just know that you can work within your field of grace, like that there's a field of grace that you can work in. And honestly, I burst into tears. I was like, oh, you know, everything's going to be all right. It always is. Like, I really believe that there's something that's always got your back and got your higher interest at heart. And so, I just remembered that right the way through. Like, everything's okay. I don't have to put in effort or try too hard. Like, there's a field of grace. There is grace. It exists. And that got me through. It was the most amazing experience. And, you know, I do believe, like, every time I think this is the worst possible thing that could ever happen to me, sure enough, later on, I've got a different perspective on it. Like, it was the best thing. It constantly was redirections. Like, you can go there, you can get dragged there, but either way, like, I honestly believe there's always a higher purpose and direction for us.
And at the time we don't understand it.
I
but
believe
over time you start realizing.
And I think that helps. Like, that more than anything, believing that helps. Because it helps make sense of the madness. Otherwise it's just pure madness. Life and what happens, like
struggles and fails.
And I'm okay with the struggle now. You know, I'm okay with it. Part of it. Like, you want to be stronger, struggle.
And the more you struggle, the stronger you'll be.
Totally.
Which, you know, if you're living life from a place of constantly seeking comfort all the time, can be a very uncomfortable thought.
Yeah, I read it.
The more you stay in that uncomfortable zone, you're kind of clicking, you're agreeing here.
Yeah.
The more like it takes that to realise.
Yeah, we want it, and we need more of it in society today. Like, we've got too many comforts, too much stuff to make us soft and weak, and without that mental and physical resilience. And CrossFit gives all of us that stuff back, and community.
Yeah, and I think I see that all the time in people at the gym and at the box. When they click onto that it's, you have that moment where like, I'm suffering right now and this is hard, and I really enjoy it, and I've realised that I'm going to keep chasing this, because you have that moment where you realise, like, I love raising up to the challenge. Bring it on.
I love it too, and I mean, like I said, with my Fit as Fuck challenge, one of the things we do, one of the tasks is to reinvent suffering. Like, that's what that topic's called, and I've written a piece about reinventing it, and I ask people to write something as well. That task for the day is to reinvent their own suffering, so to reinterpret it, and because it's a good thing. We constantly say, oh, it's just suffering, like it's a bad thing. It's like, you say that like it's a bad thing.
Yeah.
Like, it's a good thing.
Yeah.
Where would you be without it?
Yeah. I did 1,000 burpees a month ago.
Nice.
For time. It was stupid and very silly. But, it's a lot of it was just, I'd put it a few years ago, like this sort of like big thing, like I want to do it. I don't think I can do it. I know that I'll get to like rep 677 and want to quit. And once you finish it, it's that feeling of accomplishment and knowing that, all right, like nothing's ever too big for me to tackle if you just chip away at it,
Yeah, well, when we were saying earlier about working and training every day and how good that would be, that perspective that people have, but, some days it's the last thing in the world you want to do, that you feel you can do. You come in so tired and so sore, or, just in fear, state of fear of what you've got to do, and, I can't remember what I was going to say. Far out. Okay, there you go. Well, I am pretty old now, aren't I? What was I going to say? All right.
We we were talking about the challenges and, tackling.
Just go off on a tangent. I can't remember.
Oh, it's all good.
Wow.
Yeah, it's all good. Sometimes we feel what we're going to do. The muscle up. That's been a big issue for you in the past.
Oh yeah, it still is. It still is, and it's a really interesting thing that's going on for me right now. Came back from the States pretty drained, exhausted, and it's taken me 2 months to get my resilience, my health, and that it's like investing in the bank account constantly. Like, I've been investing for so long, and I drained that bank account dry, so I've been filling it back up again, and so my muscle ups feel pretty bad at the moment. And actually, my 1RM lifts, like if I was to write my weaknesses down, they're them 1RM Olympic lifts and muscle ups, and they feel the worst, and I want to run and hide from them, but I've just had this mental shift. It's like, okay, so I lift 1RMs badly. Okay, so how can I lift my 1RMs better but still do it badly? Like, what if I'm just a bad lifter but I could lift heavier anyway?
Yeah.
And what if I'm a really shit muscle upper? If I'm really bad at muscle ups, but what if I can just take what I do and just do it fucking better? Like, just be stronger for it. Just, work that aspect. Like, instead of just trying to change it and perfect it, it's like, what if I stop chasing that? Like, this is a totally new perspective for me. I'm going to stop chasing that, and I'm just going to take what I am, and man, I'm going to make it myself so gnarly at it.
Yeah.
So maybe that's my attitude. It's like, I'll give up on that because it's so stressful, constantly trying to be perfect with it, and I'm far from it. But man, I can grind anything out. I got skills, and I got capacity to grind, and I got mental toughness, and I seem to be pretty good across the board, apart from those things. So. That's a different attitude I've got at the moment. It's like, all right, I think even, I don't follow him, what's his name, big Russian lifter dude? Klokov. Right, Klokov. I think he said something, somebody said it to me the other day. He's like, if you just lift this way, we'll just lift that way really well. Like, instead of trying to chase something else. And it just clicks for me. It's like, yeah, I'm on that edge of changing my perspective, so that's it, my new perspective. We'll see how that goes this year.
And in fitness, there's so many different ways to do the one thing. Whether
Correct.
it be...
You look at everybody who lifts, and everybody lifts differently. It's like, okay, well, which one's perfect? I don't know, but they're all lifting pretty heavy.
Yeah, and it's it's crazy because, you know, you come into it, especially if you're new, CrossFit's your first beginning, you feel like everything has to be done one way, your air squat has to be done one way, your pull-ups has to be done one way, and then you start venturing out and you start seeing, not even the world of gymnastics, but you see the world of, you know, dancing and movement and it being expressed in those sort of places. You see, you know, the Chinese weightlifting, which looks completely different to the weightlifting that we're traditionally introduced to, and they're all getting to the same place.
True. Yeah, I mean, same with swimming, you know, swimming technique, you might have a straight arm, an early vertical forearm, like, you know, bilateral breathing, like, there's a lot of different ways of swimming, but, you know, are you fast? Yeah.
And that's what matters at the end of the day.
Yeah.
What's been the hardest workout you've had to do in CrossFit, or what's been the biggest challenge that CrossFit has thrown at you?
Oh, honestly, it's turning up every day.
Yep.
I don't care if it's training or regionals or games. Like, the hardest thing about CrossFit is turning up every day and persevering when, you know, it feels like you're not getting anywhere, and maintaining a positive attitude. They're the hardest things for me. That's what I work on the hardest. You know, people think, oh, it comes easy to you. It's like, no fucking way. It doesn't come easy. Not one day. Not one day do I have without fear or without anxiety or without discomfort. And, you know, I just have to swallow it up and, you know, really call on all of my positivity work and, you know, just affirmations and just a willingness to turn up anyway, despite all of that. Like, I don't know if other people, you know, top CrossFitters don't have the fear and don't have the anxiety and all of that. I do. Like, that's my world, and I'm jealous of them if that's their existence. But I know I'm not alone because, you know, every one of my clients has that and they share it with me all the time. So at least I can report back, it's the same for me. You know, they think when you get there it's not going to be like that. No, you just lift heavier and move faster for the same anguish and fear and frustration. We're all human.
What's been one of the biggest surprises as CrossFit's brought to your life that you didn't, obviously apart from the obvious ones, what's been one of the things that you weren't expecting at all?
Yeah, well, I mean, I didn't even plan to be involved in CrossFit in the first place, you know. I mean, it found me. I didn't go looking for it. And then it's brought to my life, like, it's brought my entire life together, and I've never been more passionate about anything. And I think everything happens for a reason and at a particular time, and this has all come together for me to, you know, to express my highest potential and to explore it and to express it. So who would have thought? You know, I just think it's phenomenal that, you know, 44 years old, that I can have found my passion, and it's CrossFit, and that I'm badass, and that I run a, you know, coaching called Fit as Fuck, and you know, and I love what I do every day. Like I said, it's not that I don't fear and stress and have anxiety, but I love what I do. And
you're not the superhuman person that just gets up every day with all the energy in the world.
I work at it every single day. But that's the thing. And you know, my mum started CrossFit, right, a week ago, or she's had 7 sessions now. She's 68 years old. She got double unders in the first 2 minutes of skipping. You know, she rode a 2:12 for the first time she'd ever rode, She rode 500 meters and rode a 2:12. And she, like, you think at 40 or 44 finding your passion is exciting. She's 68, and in the first week she is more passionate than she has ever been in her entire life. She is stimulated, she is excited, she is motivated, and she wants to look after herself. She's doing everything I tell her to do, which is what I tell my clients to do. You know, recovery and supplements and hydration and the sleep and everything. She's doing it. You know, it's like suddenly it's just galvanized everything that's positive for her.
That's awesome.
It's all heading in the same direction, like all of that stuff being channeled in something incredible. Instead of just like all of this energy that people have, and it's just going like a shitstorm everywhere, like whoa, bring it all together.
You know, focus it towards something. That's really cool.
That's the opportunity of a lifetime. Like, that's what people live for, really.
How long did it take you to get her into it?
I just suggested it to her a few weeks ago. I'm like, man, you should do CrossFit. She's like, I'm going to start swimming again. I'm going to do the Masters Games. It's like, she's a great swimmer. She doesn't have to train to win. Like, she's just a natural. She really is. But for 50 years probably, like, since she started having kids, she had me at 23. She's been working and renovating and landscaping, you know, but never living her passion. Like, she was there for her kids, not for herself. And and that's what so many mothers do. But at 68, you know, you think it's time to like give up and, you know, somebody to bury you at 68. Like she's starting her life.
Yeah. And it's awesome that something like CrossFit can exist.
And people are scared of CrossFit, right? Oh, I'm intimidated. I need to get fit before I go. It's like, well, my mum's 68.
Yeah.
She hasn't done any kind of physical activity other than, you know, landscaping for like her entire adult life, and she's walked in here and just picked it up straight away. Yeah. No fear.
Yeah, it's all the attitude you bring to it.
Oh,
you know, and people just need to realise that. You know, you'll never be fit enough for it.
Like until
you start.
Totally drank the Kool-Aid on this, you know, but. You know, and for some people it's crocheting. You know, if crocheting's your thing, good luck to you. But if you get immense passion out of that, fantastic. And you know, I was actually going to start with a book club. Just going to a book club because it's something I think still have to make sure I have something outside of, you know, my CrossFit.
Yeah, and this is what
passion.
this is again people want to find out like what else. Like,
so
what's your inspiration? Because you have a lot of this, you know, positive sort of drive. Like,
look, I mean, I listen to a million podcasts, and whenever
what's
I get in the car, Bulletproof is amazing. Paleo Solution and Endurance Nation, Endurance Planet, sorry, those three. But I've done a lot of Anthony Robbins stuff and like people bag him, but I just think the guy's fucking incredible.
Oh, he changed my life. You know, I used to while going to uni, I used to work as a cleaner, and you know, I really hated having a shitty job, quite literally. And you know, I'd sit there listening to him, and you know, like I'd had this dream to like build a gym one day. You know, and I was 20 at the time, and I was like, how am I going to, you know, start a business at 20 years old? And you know, it happens. You know, like if you don't have that, until I had that sort of positivity in your life, that changes how you think.
Yeah, well, we all have to be exposed to it constantly. So you've got to
and it's amazing what one person giving you a different story of life can do. Because that's a lot of what positivity is in your life. You know, it's somebody offering you a different story.
Yeah, and I mean, I've read every bloody self-help book there is on the planet. You know, psychology and psychiatry texts. Like I'm just driven like that. I just need to know and answers and. It's all come together now. All that, but it's a foundation, I guess, hard earned over decades.
Yeah, and it takes time.
And desperation, really.
You know, and it takes. It's crappy that it takes this, but you know, until you've gone through a bad spot, you don't realise
how good the good is.
And you don't. Maybe it's even hard to find the drive to want to get to that good place.
Yeah, it's that gift of suffering. You know.
Yeah, definitely. Well, thank you very much for being on the podcast and on the first video one. Any sponsors that you want to mention before we finish?
I've got some amazing sponsors like Professional Whey. I get all of my supplements through them, and I found them over a couple of years ago now, and God, it was a great day when I read the packaging and knew that these guys were full of integrity and purity and you know, no chemicals, so everything I take is theirs. And I'm so grateful to the support. They're amazing people. And then Jaw, so these guys who do the pull-up grits and clothing, apparel, and I just love them to death as well. All my sponsors, I'm so lucky that I just resonate with them like they're my family of choice. And then RX Smart Gear, so their ropes are amazing as well, and they've been incredibly supportive. I met Dave Newman in the States. And then SMAE have been incredible supporters of me since 2011 with equipment and financial support. Lee from SMAE has just been wonderful. Before I knew anything, he was there supporting me, and you know, got a few others that you know, like CrossFit hands. Oh my gosh! And they do a muscle paste. You know, I put it on most days now when I'm feeling any soreness before I go to bed, and their stuff is pure and clean and made with like total love and integrity. Again, like all of that stuff's so important to me. I don't put chemicals in my body, and I won't work with any sponsor that I don't truly believe in their products. Like 100% believe in. Just non-negotiable. So, and you know, they feel the same way about me, so it's huge privilege. Awesome. What about if people want to get in contact with you? How could they do that? Best thing is my Facebook page. I've got Amanda Allen CrossFit Athlete, or amandaallen.com.au. It's my website, and all of my books are online there, and signing up to my Facebook, signing up to my Fit as Spark is all through there as well. And most people who are supposed to find me.
Yeah, cool. Awesome. Well, thank you very much for checking out the, for being on the podcast. All good.
Thank you.
And again, guys, if you want to find out a bit more about Something Rx, subscribe to our newsletter. It's on our website, somethingrx.com. And as always, this show is sponsored by Fashion Rx. Take care, guys, and see you another time. Peace.
Leaving from trying to get over, get under, get even, get inside, getting dumb, getting greedy. We got to get it right, it's not about to be easy. Come on, best to pull your goggles up, it's about to get greasy. Believe it's on long as we can still speak freely. The pages of my life are making hard to read me. I know my people hearing me, holler if y'all need me. Word. We fight.